The Anglo-Saxons and Vikings. The Anglo-Saxons. Over the course of the 5th and 6th century, the Britons were overwhelmed by people coming from North Sea regions of northern Europe, including Jutes, Angles, and Saxons. These people are referred to as Anglo-Saxons, and they settled south of Hadrian's Wall because they were lowland rather than upland people and were looking for farming land. Their society was founded on loyalty to the family or clan, and the center of communal life was the hall, which was placed where they gathered and swore loyalty to the chief in return for their protection. By the beginning of the 7th century, the boundaries of the Anglo-Saxon kingdom, known as Heptarchy, or Seven Kingdoms, had formed. They continued without changing until 829, when the Kingdom of Wessex became the most important. Christianization. While the Romans had introduced Christianity to Britain, the Anglo-Saxons party reintroduced pagan values. In 596, Pope Gregory I the Great sent a monk, Augustine, to bring Christianity back to England. Augustine's mission of Christianization was successful. The Cathedral of Canterbury was founded in 602, and Augustine became the first Archbishop of Canterbury, which was and still is the most important role within the Church of England. As a consequence, the Christianization England joined Europe's ecclesiastical culture. The monasteries became important cultural centers. The church educated the people and offered them ancient public administration. In the monastery of Lindisfarne, founded in 1635 off the northwest coast of England, the monks produced illuminated Gospels, which are now on display in the British Library in London. In 685, a new monastery was found on the River Tyne at Jarrow, where the school of Venerable Bede wrote the ecclesiastical history of the English people, which was completed in 731. Bede used the word Anglo for the first time and applied some chronology to the birth of the country. That is why he is regarded as the father of English history. The Danes. While the Anglo-Saxons were farmers, their Scandinavian neighbours, the Vikings, whom the English commonly called Danes, were sea people. They crossed the Atlantic on their long ships looking for treasure, castles and slaves. They then set up colonies, creating the Norsemen culture around the coast of Europe. In 783, they sacked Lindisfarne, destroying hundreds of manuscripts and taking the monks as slaves. By the early of the 9th century, the Viking invasion of Britain became an occupation. The Vikings began to settle, intermarry. They established Dane walls, which was a code of Danish law, but also became to describe the area administered by the Danes in the northern and eastern England. Their language blended with that of the local population and could be seen in place names ending in Throp, by, and Kirk. When they reached Wessex, however, they met with opposition of King Eldred and his brother Alfred. Alfred the Great. When Ethelred died in 871, Alfred became King of Wessex from 871 to 899. King Alfred defeated the Danish commander Grufump at the Battle of Edington in 878. The recognition of the army of Wessex by demanding one soldier from each freeman's farm as a tribute. He built fortresses and planned a navy of longships. He established his capital in Winchester and invited scholars from the continent. Latin texts were translated to English Saxon, and the English Saxon's Chronicle was commissioned in 890. Church schools were opened and a new legal code was created. When Alfred died in 899, his son Edward and his grandson Alfestein, 924 to 939, succeeded the throne. In 927, Alfestein created a kingdom by establishing the idea of royal authority, law, and coinage. In 991, the Viking organized a further attack, but the English responded by paying money. They dangled to be left alone. In 1015, there were another Danish invasion, and the Viking Empire now extended from Wessex through Denmark to northern Norway. This marked the beginning of the collapse of the Saxon England. The last Anglo-Saxon king was Harold Earl of Wessex in 1066. Harold managed to defeat the Danes in the north of England, but then had to march south to fight William, Duke of Normandy, who was claiming the English throne. At the final Battle of Hastings in 1066, Harold was killed and the English Saxons were completely conquered by the Normans.